It's easy to smile when you're making music like this. And the place where I live and the people that I know makes me smile. And let me explain exactly why. Smile on my face when I'm walking in the place. I can feel the hate generate, but I still don't let it phase or slow my pace. Cause great don't fade, remember for the impact I made. And I don't get what was holding me back and holding me back. Man, it happened so fast that when I look back, everything was said and done, one track at a time, drumming like I'm giving it a hell of a run. Till no more flow coming out of my soul, and I don't know where I'ma go after no more shows and worldwide tours. But right now, I'm wanting more and more in a city of stores, on the cover of Source, reading Stat and Gem, on the next best thing. And that's a dream.
So anyways, the man of the hour is finally up, Brycen Alleyne. So as I was just saying, he is a super back with the FCF. He was able to lead the league in rushing yards with 349 rushing yards on 72 carries, 5.0 yard per carry average. He had 8 rushing touchdowns, adding another 25 yards and a touchdown as a receiver. He was also a big reason why his team found themselves as the third scoring offense in the league. As a member of the team, I quickly became a fan of this season, the Glacier Boys. All right.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
But Ducky in Disguise says that you're about to set history and play for the Ohio Force of the MLFB and be inducted into the Hall of Fame for them. So,
wherever football takes me, I'm gonna bring it wherever it takes me. If it takes me to Ohio, I'm there, and you're gonna get what every other league has gotten out of me.
So without further ado, let's get Brycen on here. How's it going, Brycen? Thanks for joining me tonight.
What's up, man? How are you? I appreciate you for having me.
I definitely cannot complain. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get right into it. What led you into the game of football when you were young, and what exactly did you start playing organized football?
I mean, to be honest, I'm like a big sports family. All of my uncles played football at every single level. My dad played football, and I mean, I'm the oldest boy, and I was the only boy at the time, just me and my younger sister. So that was just kind of like a natural flow into it. You know what I mean? Was always into like training and working out and everything with my uncles and everything. So kind of just, it was just a natural route right into it. I got into it pretty early. I want to say maybe like, I mean, I started out playing flag. You know, that's probably like first, second grade. I don't know. And then get right into tackle right after that. So took like the natural route, you know what I mean, playing flag and everything, and then going right into tackle ball, and you know what I mean, the rest is history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you always played running back?
Shoot, when I first started, for real, I played like defensive line. Played defensive line. Yeah, I don't know. You know, and sometimes them little league coaches don't really be known. They try to just kind of just be throwing people all over the place. So played like D line for like a year. My first year at tackle ball, I played D line. And I mean, I was kind of at an advantage just because I was a little bit smaller and quicker. So I was getting through and, you know what I mean, tearing up the older guys whenever we would scrimmage them. And then after that, once I ended up changing teams after my first year at tackle ball, then straight back to running back and playing a little bit of defense, corner and linebacker and everything. So always played both sides of the ball until college.
Gotcha. Very interesting. I did actually not know that. I didn't catch that anywhere.
Yeah, many people don't know that. One of my first numbers was 61.
Interesting. I would not have guessed that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I read another interview of yours. You said growing up in Wilmington, Delaware, you have said there was kind of like a negative cloud around the city, yet many successful people have come out of Wilmington other than yourself. Tell me about some of the influences you had coming out of Wilmington.
I mean, for the most part, a lot of people, well, I'll start off with really like my uncles. Majority of my uncles all played football at some point. My dad was highly recruited out of high school, was recruited to Florida State coming out, and then, you know what I mean, ended up taking the junior college route, went up to Maine, went to community college in Florida, was supposed to go to Miami and all that. So like you kind of hear those stories all around. And then, you know, one of my uncles played arena ball, played for the Panthers for a little bit. My other uncle, he got drafted out of, we went to the same college. He graduated from Delaware State in, I want to say 96 or 97. And, got drafted to the Baltimore Ravens. So that's kind of like my family background in terms of playing ball and playing at the professional level.
Very nice. Very nice. During your career at Concord High School, you were used in many different ways, like we
Yeah.
just talked about. But not really all that different, other than the fact that you didn't play defense in the FCF.
Yeah.
Have you always kind of, like I said, played that hybrid running back, wide receiver, basically get the ball in your hands however they can?
I mean, in high school, the at Concord High School, we were a triple, like a wing T, triple option team. So we really, honestly, can say like I probably caught the ball maybe 5 times, like give or take 5 times. You know what I mean? No more, no less, definitely less than 10 over my 4 years in high school. Definitely caught the ball less than 10 times. Uh, caught like little bubbles and I mean a couple things out of the backfield. And we were definitely a run heavy downhill team, power, trap, counter, and all of those and stuff like that. And then I mean playing on special teams, I caught like 2 punts in high school. And then I mean eventually went to college and played. I mean started at punt return in my senior year. So I mean I had zero, really no real experience like that in high school, except for I mean, kick return, but I played all phases of the game, whether it was defense, special teams, or anything.
Absolutely. So it's safe to say that when you got to college, they kind of learned how to start using you the correct way then?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once I kind of got used to the college game and I mean the flow of everything, and they realized that I was a playmaker. I mean, they needed me in the game, and I mean, kind of splitting me out. I came into college as a receiver, and then midway through the season, ish, they kind of wanted to test me out back at running back, and went to running back, and I mean, I stayed there, but then they realized I could catch the ball out of the backfield, so then had like plenty of packages for me where I was one on one with the linebacker. I mean, running routes because I wasn't a great route runner at receiver, but as a running back, I was a great route runner at running back.
Gotcha.
Out of
Makes
the
sense.
backfield. Yeah.
A little bit easier to release when you don't have a guy right in your face, I think.
Yeah, right. And you know what I mean? The first thing I mean, at receiver, you know what I mean? Your job is really to catch the ball. What I mean? That's your only job. You ain't gonna get no handoffs. Just run the route, catch the ball. Then going to running back, you know what I mean? I'm gonna run the ball, then randomly have to pop out there to go catch a pass. So it's kind of like you're just going, And it's like, oh, I gotta go catch a pass. Let me just go do that instead of already having that on my mind. So I mean, it was definitely a easy transition for me, and I mean, I like that better. I mean, being a factor coming out of the backfield because not many backs can do that.
That's true. That's very true. So if you had to pick one trait about yourself as a player that makes you so good as a runner, what would it be and why?
Really, well, as a player, I would say that I'm versatile. As a running back, I think being able to be a factor in the passing game is huge because not many running backs are respected. I mean? If Marshawn Lynch lines up outside receiver, you ain't going to think he about to run over top of you or something like that or beat you deep. But like with me, you kind of got to you have to account for me in the passing game. You can't kind of just let me go. I feel like that's the number one thing that I possess, and one thing that many backs don't possess. I mean, they're really just strictly just downhill runners. I'm shifty, and even with me not being a 200-pound back, I run really hard. I mean, shoot, I can. We're gonna have to go blow for blow. You're not just going to take shots on me and all that. And I mean, I've been doing it for so long that it's really nothing to me. I get asked all the time, even with me not being, a heavier back. I get asked all the time. They don't know, how do you take so many hits and stuff? And it's just like it's regular. You know what I'm saying? I play running back. I lift weights. I'm strong. So I run hard. I run bigger than what I am.
Gotcha. So this is going to sound completely out of order because we're
Mhm.
going in chronological order, but the
Yeah.
chat really wants me to ask, so I feel like I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
They are curious if you have any interest in the MLFB now that we talked about it a little bit ago with Brooklyn.
I mean, I'm just now. Well, I want to say within like the last week or two, I was just now seeing like all of the news about it, and all of the teams that they have been releasing and coming out and everything. So, I mean, I'm interested in playing football. At the end of the day, interested in playing football, and definitely interested in going back outdoors. I mean, shoot, if anybody got any information, who do I got to get in contact with? Because I mean, I didn't. I mean, I added them in a couple of once I kind of found out about it. I added them into I added them onto like a different tweets of mine, like the threads and stuff. a couple of my highlights, a couple of my accolades, and workout videos. So just to try to get their attention, because I'm not really sure how to get in contact with them, or any personnel, people, or directors. So shoot, if anybody got any information,
I got a couple different people you can contact, actually.
Yeah.
I'll send you some information when we're off of here, all
Oh
right?
yeah, most definitely.
But Ducky in Disguise says that you're about to set history and play for the Ohio Force of the MLFB and be inducted into the Hall of Fame for them. So
Wherever football takes me, I'm gonna bring it wherever it takes me. If it takes me to Ohio, I'm there, and you're gonna get what every other league has gotten out of me.
there you go. There you go. So in the open field as a runner, not to put anything in your mouth or anything,
Mhm.
or any words in your mouth, but watching you play from a fan's perspective, one of your strengths has got to be your vision. I mean, it seems like at times, maybe it's just great peripheral vision, but it seems like at times you feel guys 3-4 yards away from you before
Yeah.
they're even like a step on you, and all of a sudden you make a move and they have no hope. So it's just amazing to watch from a fan's perspective. But I mean, is this something that you've kind of always had, or is this something that training developed over time?
I mean, I tell people a lot of times, like even in high school, I didn't make, like, if you watch my high school film compared to like my college and professional film now, they're like almost night and day. In high school, I was just running past people. I probably make a move here or there, but I had such great blocking and a good old line, that I didn't have to really do too much. I was just running past people and scoring and whatnot. But once I got to college, everybody's fast in college, so everybody's fast, everybody's doing their job, and at certain points, I didn't have a great O line coming from Delaware State. We didn't switched up a lot of things throughout the season, a lot of things over the year. I mean, shoot, I went through 7 quarterbacks in 4 years. So it's just kind of something that I developed, and something that I trained over the years in the off season. Reaction drills and everything. So I kind of just get a good feel for people. And watching film, you kind of already know what certain guys are going to do, so you know where they're going to be at, and you know what areas are going to be open. So definitely just developing that over time, and then kind of realizing what my game was once I got to college. I knew that everybody was fast, so it wasn't like I was just gonna every single time run past people. I was gonna have to make people miss. So repeating that over and over again, having those opportunities to do that, kind of just built upon that, and it really just made it my game.
Gotcha. Okay. So we talked about how you kind of came into college as a receiver. So let's talk
Yeah.
about your recruitment process. I
Yeah.
mean, you're coming out of a run-heavy offense. What kind of interest did you have out of high school?
Man, I really had none. I mean, I was an undersized guy. Was in Delaware. I really, Delaware is a small state. Not many people come out of here, and we don't make that much noise in terms of football. Everybody looks down south, or like Jersey, PA area, and everything like that, just because of the competition level. So coming out of high school, I was getting a lot of interest from Division 2, Division 3 schools, like those pioneers, very very smart lead schools. Um, Really just Division 2, heavy Division 3. My first offer was from Gannon University up in Gannon, PA, and they honestly wanted me to come up as a slot receiver. So I was just like, okay, you know what I mean? My first offer, like, I'll take it. It is what it is. Uh, so that kind of went like that, and then I was kind of taking too long just because I wanted to keep my recruiting open, and my trainers and my mentors and stuff were kind of telling me to hold back a little bit, just to see if anything kind of came through, and then getting closer to signing day, I was kind of leaning towards going to junior college, or prep school, Fork Union Military Academy. I was gonna have to go there, or it was either Fork Union Military Academy, or it was East Coast Prep, and those are really the only schools options that I had. And then you know randomly, Delaware State had got a new head coach. He contacted one of my trainers after he got a hold of my film and told me to come down for a visit. And on my way down to that Delaware State visit, the Gannon coach had called me and was basically telling me they were pulling my scholarship because I was taking too long. So, 2 days before signing day, I'm finding out I ain't got no offers anymore. So then finally went down to Delaware State, got down there and met the head coach. We talked about, like, what he sees for me, my future there. And then I was offered on the spot. I was really offered if it was like a 75% scholarship, I think, where they would just pay for a majority of my tuition. So I was cool with that. And I didn't really know that. I didn't really know how much it was until like I got the paperwork like a couple weeks later. And then midway kind of through that spring semester of my senior year of high school, he called me back and was telling me that he was going to grant me full scholarship. So originally that scholarship wasn't even a full scholarship. So that was really how my, it was up and down, really a lot of uncertainties. And then, that finally came through 2 days before signing day. So I was happy with that. At the end of the day, I knew I could play Division I football. So at that point really didn't really matter where. And I went to Delaware State. I'm from Delaware. So that was only like a, 50-minute distance between home and campus.
There you go. There you go. So I take it that was part of your motivation to end up going to Delaware.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I wanted to play Division I football. I mean, really being home, really like I can honestly say being on campus, being in school, I rarely went home. I honestly didn't come home unless it was the weekends or unless it was like a birthday, like one of my brothers or sisters' birthday or parents' birthdays. But I rarely went home. I was always on campus. I really had no, and then at that I didn't have any means of travel, so didn't have a car coming down because they told us freshmen weren't allowed to have cars, which was like really like a lie. You know what I'm saying? So, I just went down there and just stayed down there.
Gotcha. Interesting. So in college, you play early and often, kind of in a running back by committee type situation.
Yeah.
Is this something you would be comfortable doing at the XFL level in 2023?
Oh, like having multiple, like sharing snaps with someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to that. I'm used to that already, and I mean that's kind of the way the game goes now. There's always like a 1-2 punch on a team, especially in the NFL as well, and at every level. There's always a 1-2 punch with like a third guy that's going to get a couple reps in there. So I mean, I'm no stranger to that coming from Delaware State. We ran about maybe three or four running backs a game, maybe. I was really one of the main guys, but we were a lot of times in two back, and then if we went in one back, I would take a majority of the snaps, and then get reps in with somebody else will come in and get reps in, and then they may throw a third person in there just to give me and the second guy, a little breather. So doing that, no problem with that at all. Coming from Fan Controlled Football League, there was one back per team, but you're not taking that many snaps. So that really wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the FCF is kind of interesting how they use their running backs in
Yeah,
general.
yeah,
So your best season ends up coming right at the perfect time, just before you graduate. You set a career high with 646 yards rushing, added 83 through the air, averaged 28 yards per kick return, and returned the first punts of your college career, as we talked about earlier.
yeah.
You also scored 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 kick return touchdown. Is there anything about this season in particular among all of that that stands out when you look back?
Really, no. I just kind of had a chip on my shoulder, to be honest. I had tore my ACL in 2017, the end of my sophomore year, last game of the season. Tore my ACL. Then, once they started giving other guys reps, and then coming to spring ball, I didn't play during spring ball. I was on the side, giving out signals and everything. So kind of like felt like the forgotten back. For all that I felt like I did those 3 years prior to, and I kind of just felt like the forgotten back at that point. So I had to make a statement. So really, it was just an attitude. I don't think there was anything that pushed my senior year the way that it turned out to be, other than just feeling like the forgotten person. And I just, I gotta keep going. I gotta capitalize off of what I did my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. To be honest, there were a lot of people who kind of fell off. They were all MEAC, all Americans their freshman year. And then, they were kind of went downhill, and now they not making that many plays, or, name just isn't really being called. So I definitely didn't want to be one of those guys.
Definitely understandable. So is that chip on your shoulder, is that something you carry with you to this day?
Oh yeah, all the time, because everybody looks past it. Everybody just looks at, I'm not tall. I'm not a tall person. I don't weigh 200 pounds. But then once I put my pads on, and then once we go through everything, we go through one-on-ones. I make people look crazy. You know what I mean? I'm running all over the place, and you know what I mean? I'm just as good, if not better, than anybody else who's bigger than me. I can do the same thing. I can sit and pass pro. I'm a every down back. You can flex me out. Go to receiver. You know, I can play it everywhere. I can play any and everywhere. Special teams. You know what I mean? Even if you put me out there, slide, I can make that happen. And I've, you know what I mean, gotten better over the years. You know what I mean, working on that since college or since high school, to be honest. So I mean, I think that's what I have over a lot of people. So I kind of keep that chip on my shoulder at all times, just because I know everybody's just going to look at me and, you know, look at the next guy just because of my size and everything. But at the end of the day, film doesn't lie. You know, I put on the same things on film that, you know what I mean, the biggest back will put on film, if not better.
Agreed. I mean, obviously, I've told you countless times I'm a huge fan of you as a
Yeah.
player. So, yeah, I can definitely attest to all that. I watched all your games this year, and you're unbelievable, man. Like,
Thank
I'm
you.
not trying to just, pump up your ego here or anything, but you are fun to watch as a fan for sure.
Thank you.
So, was there a point in your career where it kind of just clicked and you're like, you know what? I can be a professional football player. I know I can do this.
Um, I don't think I ever said anything about about professionally, but I was just always in the mindset of like I can play at the highest. I could play at the highest level, wherever that level was at. I could play at the highest level. You know, I knew that I was looked past. You know, what I mean, coming out of high school from you know, what I mean, the high Division I schools, even University of Delaware, who's in the FCS. They're in you know, what I mean, they're in a big conference in Division I, and you know what I mean, being looked past them, and then coming out and playing against them, and kind of being the man, and you know what I mean, having the most kick return yards or rushing yards against them in the season, you know what I mean, that they played against, and it's just little old me. And then you know what I mean, playing against West Virginia, playing against Florida State, you know what I mean, those were like I had a lot of highlights against those teams. So you know what I mean, it just kind of reminded me a lot of what I already knew. Like I know I could play at the highest level. I just need to be given the platform and given the opportunity to do so. And you know what I mean, when those opportunities came, I took advantage of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, You ultimately end up playing in about 39 games, racking up 580 touches for about 4,100 yards and
Uh-huh.
16 touchdowns, ultimately averaging about 145 touches a year, 1,026 yards, and 4 touchdowns a season. How are you able to find so much success at the D1 level after not really having the interest that you thought you would get?
I just believed in myself at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I knew what talents I had. I knew what I brought to the table. And, you know what I mean? That, like I said, I always had that chip on my shoulder coming out of high school because, you know what I mean? I always felt like I can play at the highest level. So I just kind of went out there and didn't let anybody take me out of my game. And I just always want to be the person that, you know what I mean, my team could count on. You know, in high school, I felt like I was that person. So I felt like it was only right for me to transfer that over into every level of playing football, whether it was college or whether it was professional. So I just kind of carry that on me all throughout the years, just to be that playmaker, you know what I mean, to be that go-to guy. You know, my thing is like, you know what I mean, I don't care what happens, or I don't care, you know what I mean, who we're playing. At the end of the day, that team is going to have to scout me. They're going to have to key on me. So, you know what I mean, I just wanted to be that person. And even if I wasn't getting the ball, if they're keying on me, it's opening up other things. So it's making us successful at the end of the day. So that's really all it was, just the motivation.
I love that mentality. I love that mentality. Obviously, a team first guy. If you're talking about this with me, I
Yeah.
mean, that's awesome. That's exactly what coaches want to hear. Obviously. So I saw that in college, you actually got a passing attempt for a touchdown.
Yeah,
So we saw the Glacier Boys run some Wildcat this season. Is that something
man.
you feel comfortable with?
Man, it's crazy because you know, I talk about that one passing attempt a lot, just because, you know, like, I mean, I got it. You know, what I mean, we scored on the play. So when we added that Wildcat to our playbook, you know, we really had it in for like 2 weeks and didn't run it the first week that we put it in.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Harrison Dreer, who was coming in at quarterback. And, you know what I mean, then during the week, I'm like, hey, bro, like, you know what I mean, we can switch off here and there. You know what I mean? I'm trying to kind of prepare, like, hey, I'll take a snap, you take a snap. You know what I mean? You can run some running back stuff just so you're not at the quarterback position reading it. And, you know what I mean, just to throw the defense off a little bit. And then I threw in there. I'm like, hey y'all, listen, like y'all know I threw a touchdown pass in college, so just do what y'all want to do with that information, but I did do it. So yeah, man, it was fun being back in that wildcat position. I wish we wish we would have had more opportunities to actually to run it some more, and even get some opportunities to throw the ball around a little bit.
Actually, hey, that makes a lot of sense. I actually talked to Harrison about it, and he said the same thing. He said he thoroughly enjoyed it. He was really
Yeah,
hoping that you guys would run it some more, but
yeah,
uh, it's one of those things.
yeah,
So during college, you studied strength and conditioning,
yeah.
which, I mean, I'm not trying to be weird here, but you look like you're rocked up, man. So it obviously shows that you take great pride in your
Yeah, I do.
strength and your conditioning. So, I mean, um, was this something that was a major that you wanted to do before, or was it something that just kept you tied to football?
Originally I came in as a mechanical engineer major. Um, yeah,
Really?
like in high school, my parents getting on you about what you want to do for a living. I'm like, man, I don't even know, man. Like I'm still in high school. I really don't know what I want to do. But uh, I like putting things together, figuring stuff out. So they figured out engineering, and engineering makes a lot of money. So they're like, hey, listen, you can make a lot of money doing this. You like kind of putting things together. Why not just do it when you go to school? So, me and my dad went to Delaware State for like my campus tour. Met with my advisor, and then when we met with my advisor, she gave me the rundown of my courses if I was taking mechanical engineering. So, like, me and him both looked at the courses, and we was like, nah. And I was like, all right, so what can I do? What else can I do? Like that ain't gonna be too much math or too much science. And then ultimately chose exercise science with concentration and strength and conditioning, just because I fell in love with the weight room, fell in love with the developmental side of training, and I've been around it all my life. So I was just like, why not stick with it? I know already a lot just from being in the field. Why not learn more about it on the science side? And staying around sports at the end of the day.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I mean, it
Yeah.
goes right along with what you're doing on the football field, so why not, right?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
After a successful stint in college, which included a 9-month internship with the strength and conditioning program, you end
Yeah.
up being hired by Thomas McKeon High School as their head strength and conditioning coach
Yeah.
slash running backs coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
How exactly did you end up going right into coaching out of college? And did you have offers to play on the table at the moment?
So, coming out of college, I did my pro day. I did very well in my pro day. Then it's, talks about scouts, talking to my agent. I was supposed to go to, did a couple CFL workouts, was supposed to go to Hamilton Tiger Cats in 2019, but they went to a lockout rookie mini camp was supposed to happen. The US scout called me, the US scout called my agent. So like it was a go. And then like the week after, I'm like, hey, like, am I supposed to be getting any, like, I didn't know how it worked. So I was like, am I supposed to be getting some type of information? And then like as soon as I texted him to ask about any other information, he sent me the article and was like, man, like we just went to a lockout. We can't have anybody up here right now. So that was kind of how that road went. And then like I said, I studied exercise science, so I had a job working at an athletic facility in Newark, Delaware. So I was traveling back and forth since my junior year of college to work and train like high school and middle school kids. So I was already kind of in the field, learning how to program things and train kids and everything like that, other than myself. And then it so happened that the head coach for McKean High School, I was training a couple of his guys. He was bringing a lot of his kids to my clinics that I was having. I was having running back clinics, and he was bringing a lot of his kids there. So I was running them, and then he approached me one random day and was like, "Hey, did you see my post about the job opening for over here at McKean?" And I was like, yeah, I saw it. Like I never really wanted to get into coaching. I just like the training side of it, being behind doors on the back end, and really just prepping guys for it. Never really was into like being the X's and O's guy. So he asked me to apply for it. I was just like, why not? I wasn't really doing much at the time, just kind of waiting around on things. And then he brought me in for an interview and was like, listen, like I seen the way you train my guys. I need you a part of my staff. And that's kind of how that went. And immediately came in, made an impact. Really, my whole thing was kind of just culture, just teaching kids, and McCain High School it gets a lot of kids from pretty bad areas of the city. So kind of just teaching them culture on how you do things. If you really care about it, especially on the sports side about it, and really just developing those kids, as young men as well as athletes. So that's kind of how that came about. So I was there for about 3 years. Going into my third year, I was getting taking a lot of more responsibilities and duties on the offensive side. I was ended up at some point coaching offensive line. Just we didn't have an offensive line coach, so I was coaching offensive line just on steps and everything, like how we run certain plays. And then ended up getting into a little bit of like play calling just while I was really just watching and everything. And then I ended up taking a job at another high school, Delaware Military Academy. New head coach coming down. So this was last January. New head coach came down from a really big school in Philadelphia. And I was one of the first people that he reached out to that was in Delaware just because of my resume and the connections that I have in the state. So he brought me out, and same thing again. My second program, being a head strength coach and running backs coach, and then currently right now kind of stepping into a like co-offensive coordinator role.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions about the military academy. You
Yeah.
prefaced them perfectly. First of all, do you ever just handle one role in anything you do?
Nah, I always like I feel like I have so much I feel like I have so much like knowledge just because of the different levels that I've been at and just the different things that I've seen and what I do as well. So like people kind of start picking my brain a little bit, and it's just like, well, what'd you think about this? Okay, well maybe you can help out over here. So like, my first year, like I said, I was all conference special teams player. So, I ended up stepping into the special teams coordinator role. At first, it was just kind of like an assistant role my first year with Delaware Military Academy. And then, by like second, third game, they was like, nah, you got it. So, head strength coach, running backs coach, special teams coordinator. Then I was a JV head coach. And then, coming into this year, kind of stepping back from the JV and co-offensive coordinator kind of now. So that's really how that went.
That's awesome. So for any teams that happen to catch this, not only are you getting a running back and a wide receiver and a kick returner and a punt returner, you're also getting a coach.
Also getting a
'Cause
coach.
why not? That's crazy. So what was it ultimately just your Delaware connections that led you to the military academy?
Well, my younger brother, he was so when I was at McCain High School, um, my younger brother, he went to Salesianum High School, really big high school, well-known high school in Delaware. They have currently right now, they have two players out of that high school that are currently playing in the NFL, Troy Reader and Brian O'Neill. Brian plays for the Vikings, Troy plays for the Chargers.
Yeah.
So a well-known high school. And originally coming out of eighth grade, he was supposed to go to Philly to play underneath the coach that is now at Delaware Military. So when he came to Delaware Military, and my other younger brother played at Delaware Military Academy. So I have three younger brothers. The one underneath me, he graduated from Delaware Military, and then the one underneath him, he was a freshman and played at Salesianum, and then transferred when the new head coach came over. And then once he found out that I was taking the job over there, my brother transferred over, and now he's a starting quarterback. So that was kind of that kind of influenced the decision a little bit. So that's kind of what led me there. Kind of family ties.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, basically your whole family's gone there at this point. That's
Yeah,
cool.
really family ties and opportunities to grow for real. Because after spending 4 years in the coaching world, I figured why not grow from it. The head coach currently now, he has a lot of connections, sent a lot of guys to Power 5 schools out of Philadelphia. So figured why not grow out of it as a coach. And that's all I'm doing right now. Meeting a lot of people.
Gotcha. So during this stint working with multiple different teams and an organization that we didn't speak about yet, Alpha Training, you still managed to find time to play football as well in arena leagues.
Yeah.
Where did you get your start in arena football?
Originally in 2020, I went to the Iowa Barnstormers. So I went to a workout for the Barnstormers in December, ended up signing out there, and then reported for camp in March. Was out there for maybe I want to say like 2-3 weeks, and then I ended up getting cut. So I ended up getting cut like before week one, and then COVID happened, and shut everything down. So they didn't even have a season that year. And then the expansion team, Northern Arizona Wranglers. Not even sure. Well, I had a basically like a consultant who I kind of talked to, who's very very high in the arena game. Me and him talk a lot in the arena world, and he kind of put me on with Northern Arizona Wranglers. So I got in out there, sent my film to them immediately, and then they brought me out there, and then went through camp, played in week one, and then got cut after week one, and then that was 2021, and then now coming into 2022, I ended up signing to Sioux City Bandits. They were in the CIF, and originally before going out there, I went to the FCF, went to a workout for the FCF. Left that workout after, went to Sioux City, reported to camp for about a week and a half, and then got my contract to the FCF, and then here I am today.
Interesting. When you were a member of the Sioux City Bandits, did you actually play with linebacker Reggie Northrup?
I don't even think I did, to be honest. I didn't really know a lot of people's names like that because I showed up 2 days late to camp because I was in Atlanta doing my workout for the FCF, and then I only stayed out there for honestly like 10 days.
Yeah.
Honestly, like 10 days, and then we didn't have practice like my last 2 days out there, and then I had already left by that point. So can't really. I know a select few guys' names. But not everyone. I kind of was just focused on getting up to speed with everybody just to learn the playbook and then get my film. And then, eventually I ended up getting out of there.
Gotcha. So you talked about it. You did the FCF tryout. You had offers in the CIF. Did you also look at the USFL?
I did look at the USFL. Being in the football world, you kind of start to know how the businesses ran. And with all of the AAF and the original XFL, with those two leagues folding, I kind of knew already how the football world worked. And with the new league starting up, I knew that they already had a lot of people who were already on their radar coming out of those leagues, coming out of camps, getting cut from camps and stuff like that. So I really didn't put all my eggs in one basket, kind of banking on the USFL. I had already signed to play for Sioux City just in case anything, didn't work out the right way. So I had didn't really have much context with the USFL either. So it was just kind of trying to send my film, trying to act them in certain things, just following everything. And then, they came out with their draft pool, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to be in the draft pool just because I didn't really have all of the exposure and or the professional resume, like I feel like they would have wanted. So I definitely did look into that, but I kind of knew my chances were slim just because of my resume.
Gotcha. So that's where the FCF came in, and
Yeah.
mission accomplished there. You added to your
Yeah.
resume for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So had you ever watched an FCF game before signing with them?
The crazy part is that I didn't. So like I was really like, I heard about it last year and I was just like, oh, okay. I never watched a game. I don't even know where. I know for a fact I've definitely seen a couple like highlights and heard about it, but never really took the chance to really look into it. I was kind of at that point like really unsure of like the arena world, so I really didn't know how far it was gonna go. And then I ended up getting a call from one of my uncles who a family friend. He knew the director of player development for the FCF. So he got a hold of my film and he told me come to a workout. I was like, all right, came to the workout, did exactly what I was supposed to do. And then, they sent me a contract almost a week later. And then, from that point forward, I was on YouTube looking up all the videos, looking up all the highlights from the games and stuff like that. So, and then, following them on social media and everything. So that's kind of how I caught up to it. And, it was my first year in the league. This was their second year kind of going through it. So, it was a lot of trial and error and, bumps and bruises and stuff like that along the way. But I'm definitely 100% glad I took that opportunity.
Absolutely. I was actually kind of the same way. I did not watch year one. I was basically same reaction, like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. We'll see how it goes. And then it took off, and I'm pretty happy it did, because now I'm a huge fan. I mean, once I watched the game.
Yeah, and it's football at the end of the day. It's football at the end of the day. I have experience playing arena football. The only difference between it is that it's 7-man instead of 9-man. And the majority of it is just, just different rules, like in terms of, flags and, how the fans can vote. So it's not really much anything different. It's still arena ball at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, the production value alone from watching games, I think that in itself is enough for fans to watch, even if they didn't have the ability to pick plays and players. But the way they bring fans in is so revolutionary. It's not even funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to ask kind of a hard-hitting question, and I want your opinion personally for this reason. What do you make of the devaluation of the running back position over, say, the past decade or so? It seems like today running backs are doing more than ever before, yet for some odd reason, they're not valued like they used to be in, the 70s, the 80s,
right,
even before that.
I think a lot of it has to do with like that whole West Coast offense coming to the professional football. Everybody's pass heavy. Back in the day they threw the ball a lot, but everybody was power downhill runners, and now we're running a lot of zone stuff. We're getting the running backs a lot of action in the passing game. So I definitely love it because it just falls right into the way that I play the game. I'm not like a bruiser running down, but I make people miss. I'm a playmaker in open space. I can get out into the passing game, and that's kind of just how the game developed now. And you can see those type of guys coming out in all leagues. There's not super duper big, just strictly I'm just gonna run downhill and try to run you over type of backs. Everybody's fast, everybody's powerful, and then like you got guys really one of my top backs, Christian McCaffrey. He's a factor in the passing game at the end of the day. He's a factor in the passing game, and I don't think they had much of that back in the day on how it used to be.
No, not like he does it. Definitely not like he does it. I'm a huge fan of McCaffrey. Actually, I'm born and raised in Denver, where his father played. I still remember. I'll never forget the play that he got injured on. Man, ugly play. What did you like the most about playing in the FCF?
Man, I say this in every interview that where they ask me that, man. I just love the love for the players, the exposure and the light that they put on the players. I believe it's like no other. All the different platforms that we have, all the interviews, them putting the banners up all around the arena and everything. It's just love at the end of the day. And after football, we can come back to the hotel or go to the bar anywhere around our hotel, and we can hang out with the owners, hang out with directors, hang out with production, hang out with, equipment guys, coaches and stuff like that. So, I just honestly think it's love. I don't think you see that around any other leagues. I've been around the IFL, CIF and stuff like that. And, I don't think you can get that out of those leagues. All the player interviews, their main FCF, their main thing is more than an athlete. So, they try to expose, what that athlete has outside of football, just to create opportunities for us. Because, football only lasts but so long, but everybody has something that they love outside of football, or, it's everybody, somebody's a creator, somebody's an owner of something. So, they just try to expose that and try to really just shine light on the players. So I think that's honestly what I love. Just giving us the exposure that you know what I mean, I believe that a lot of us probably didn't have is, you know what I mean, the reason why a lot of opportunities just didn't come to us like a lot of other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, exposure and networking is
Yeah,
super important in
yeah,
football. As mentioned before, you end up leading the league in rushing and totaled 74 touches for 374 yards and 9 touchdowns in just 7 games.
yeah.
When you signed with the FCF, did you believe you would dominate the like you did on the ground and through there?
I mean, honestly, I knew I was gonna be a factor. That was my goal. And I mean, I know me. I know my game. I know what I bring to the table. So all I ever needed was just the opportunity to show that. And you know what I mean, that opportunity presented itself, and I, you know what I mean, I showed up every week. And then, you know what I mean, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder just because it was funny. The director of player development, you know what I mean, he's the original person that I talked to when I first came out to the workout. He was kind of like my liaison between the league and you know what I mean, just me getting the opportunity in general. So the first thing he said to me, like kind of when I made it to camp or when I made it through camp, you know, his first thing was like, you know what I mean, are you going to do anything? You going to actually show up? You going to do anything this season? Are you gonna, you know what I mean, are you going to be the person that we saw in film? And I kind of looked at him like, I was like, okay, like, like okay, so now I got to prove myself. And you know what I mean, just there was 8 backs. You know what I mean, there was 8 backs, and you know what I mean, all of it is fan controlled. Where like the draft and everything. So you know what I mean, people looking at me, they're like, oh, he's not big enough. He can't do X, Y, and Z. And then you know what I mean, I show up and show out every week, and I show them why they pick me. And you know what I mean, I make the people figure out why they didn't pick me. You know what I mean, if you just looking at my size, then I mean, I feel like you're gonna fail off of that because I do everything that the league is looking at. Yeah, you know what I mean. I pass pro, I catch the ball, I run hard, I run fast, I catch. You know what I mean. All of that. So, um, I mean, that was really my motivation.
Gotcha. So out of curiosity, did you take to the Discord like Chris Barrett and try to drum up interest that way?
That's funny. um, Shoot, I think at first, like I'm a social media guy, but like the way that like the league is ran, like it's kind of like a whole different part of social media. So when they first told us, they were like, "Yo," like at first I was just thinking like, "Okay, cool." You know what I mean? We go through camp and we just get drafted, and they were like, "No, like the fans draft you. Like you need to make sure you get in the Discord." So I'm like, "All right." So then I download the Discord, and I'm feeling like an old person. I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, how you do this? Like, well, you know what I mean? What do you do on here? So I'm looking at it, then I'm finally going through it, and I'm just like, man, like, let me just start, you know what I mean, promoting myself. So I just throwing stuff in there, throwing, you know what I mean, clips from practice, throwing my highlight tape in there from college, throwing my highlight tape in. Every highlight tape I got went in Discord. So I did definitely go in there like that, you know, during camp right before the first draft. And like even the second draft, like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, here I am. This is me. You know, this is what I can do. This is what I bring to the table. Why wouldn't you want this on your team? You know what I mean? Just being a salesman, trying to sell myself at the end of the day. So, yeah, I definitely got on the Discord. And then after I got franchise tag, you know what I mean? The most I ever did when I got in there and I was just like, make sure y'all run the ball. Just run the ball. And please run the ball. Please draft this offensive line. And then, you know what I mean? That was it at the end of the day. And then, you know what I mean? Make sure y'all go vote for certain stuff that I'm on. But I mean, it was fun at the end of the day. It was definitely different.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's definitely a totally different feel. I like how you
Yeah,
put that different side of social media for sure. You grew up a Delaware native. You see all this green behind me. Are you an Eagles fan?
I am an Eagles fan.
All
I
right,
feel
that's
like
what I'm talking
by
about.
default, by default, they right at the 20 minute. I'm the first exit in Delaware, so it's 20 minutes up the street to the link. So I mean, I felt like I had no choice.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna mention a great Eagles player that I'm a huge fan of.
Okay.
At 5'6", 185 pounds, you're a spitting image of Darren Sproles. Um, so I mean, was that a guy that you modeled your game after growing up, or not? I guess growing up, but
Man,
like the last
to
10 years
be
or so.
honest, I definitely did look at Darren Sproles, and I was just like wow, like you know what I mean, we were about the same height. Um, a lot of times too, I really didn't look at size on certain players. I really just looked at their playing style. Um, I think my number one back is Chris Johnson. I liked his playing style. Christian McCaffrey, you know what I mean, being a threat, you know what I mean, in the passing game and the running game. Alvin Kamara, you know what I mean. Some people look at me and I don't have Derrick Henry like in my top 5. I'm like, that person that he I can't relate to him. He's a you know what I mean, he's a walking action figure. He's really like a defensive end, a linebacker. He's just
Yeah,
fast. And he's running people over. He's not making moves on anybody, stiff arming guys. So you know what I mean? I can't relate to that. He's definitely a great back, but I mean, he can't be in my like. I feel like if I can't relate to that, I play football. If I feel like if I can't relate to that, then I mean, he doesn't really have any business being in my top 5.
absolutely. It's all an opinion-based thing.
Yeah,
So Surf and Goat says we have a great interview we got here, and
yeah,
I would agree. I would agree. Lots of good stuff here. So you mentioned it just a minute ago. You have a top 5. Who's in your top 5?
Let me see. I go through this all the time. Let me see.
I'll give you a cheating answer. Austin Eckler should probably be on there.
Undrafted dude. You know what I mean?
Northern Colorado.
What's his name from the Broncos that went to the Broncos?
Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay. But let me see. Definitely Chris Johnson.
Nice.
You know what I mean, and guys that I've definitely got to watch. Actually, you know what I mean. A lot of people like, and you ain't putting, you know what I mean, like Barry Sanders or anybody. I'm like, man, I never got to watch those dudes play. So, but Christian McCaffrey, Chris Johnson, Alvin Kamara, LaShawn McCoy.
Ooh.
Yeah, got to throw Shady in there. Let me think. Brian Westbrook. I definitely looked up to Brian Westbrook.
Nice.
I looked up to Brian Westbrook. I had a poster of him in my room. Dang. That's I may throw Zeke in there.
That's
just
awesome.
because. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I like that. I like that top 5. Brian Westbrook was one of my favorite players when I was younger. He was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy is the whole reason we're called Shady Sports Network, by the way. So kind of came about as a nickname for me due to a goofy inside joke. And then when I started in the sports world, I was like, you know what? I've got a black LaShawn McCoy jersey that I wear quite often. I'm going with Shady for sure. So that's just kind of how it all came together. But we've talked about your versatility a lot today.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna highlight it just one more time, and then we'll probably get off of that fact. But you've been moved around a lot during your career to suit the team. Of all these roles you filled during your professional career, which do you prefer to play and why?
In terms of position, like I mean, really, I like playing running back, man. Like I just like being the guy. I like being the guy. I feel like you can do more at running back. I feel like, you know what I mean, at receiver, for the most part, you're only gonna get so many handoffs. You know what I mean, you're always gonna get the ball thrown to you. And in my opinion, it's like you want me to run 100% route and I may not get the ball, then run back and run it again. Like I can't do that. I need to know. So playing running back, man, I just feel like I have more opportunities to get the ball, more opportunities to touch the ball, more opportunities to be a factor in the game. So, and I feel like you look at running backs more as like toolboxes for real. You know what I mean? You throw them in there on special teams. So I feel like you're gonna use me all around the field at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Heading into the FCF off season, anyway, you announced your intentions to join the XFL for the 2023 showcase circuit.
Yeah.
You will be attending the showcases in an effort to, of course, showcase your skills.
Yeah.
We recently saw another back come from the FCF and dominate in a similar league, the USFL.
Yeah.
On his way to an MVP award, Cavante Turpin. Is that a guy that you look to as an inspiration coming out of the FCF?
Man, most definitely. There are a lot of second year guys who are in the FCF, and everybody talks about Turp. All you keep hearing is Terp this, Terp USFL, yeah, Terp playing tonight. So I'm like, dang, like who's this? Like who's it? I didn't know. So I'm like, who's Terp? So I'm start getting on social media and I'm clicking at names and stuff, and I finally see him, and then finally get it, and then actually watch one of the games, watch him play, and I'm just like, wow, and this guy's that for real. So I mean, it's just definitely, everybody isn't blessed with the opportunity, to really get some exposure. And, that's what the FCF did. He definitely got the opportunity that he deserved. Clearly, you can see it. And I mean, I feel as though that's what everybody needs at the end of the day. If you don't get that number one, everybody wants to go to the NFL. If you don't get that original opportunity, man, just take advantage of every opportunity, that comes after that. And just show your ability. I mean, it's clear as day that he should be playing in the NFL in the highest football league. And I probably believe that the only reason is just because of the amount of exposure that he has. Just nobody probably has seen him. He just hasn't probably had the right opportunity to really showcase his talent. And coming from the FCF, he was allowed to do that there, and then got the opportunity to go to USFL. And we all see what happened from that. So I mean, shoot, I get excited every time I see it. And I didn't when the results came out about him winning MVP, I didn't sent it around to all my group chats. I'm like, yo, this dude came from the league that I was just in. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely motivation for sure, because it's just like you want to know if what you're involved in is helping you get to the next level. And I mean, I feel like that's exhibit A right there. I got a baller who's coming from that league to go to another league back outdoors and ball again. So it just kind of shows to tell that, like, a lot of people really just need some exposure, really just need the right opportunities to do so. And shoot, he took advantage of that opportunity.
Exactly. I don't think anybody saw what he was able to do coming at the beginning of the season when he actually started off, and they weren't really using him all that
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
He's primarily in the return game, and then all of a sudden we start seeing him take a couple more carries out of the backfield. All of a
yeah,
sudden he's playing as a receiver, and then 10 weeks later he's the MVP, which totally deserved. I mean, he was the most electric player on the USFL field this year for sure.
yeah, most definitely.
So you said you came out of college the 2019 season, correct?
Right.
Okay. Did you pursue the 2020 version of the XFL at all?
No, I didn't at all. I mean, to be honest, I try to tell a lot of people who, looking on the outside in, like parents and friends, and it's just like, you didn't want to go to the AAF, or you didn't want to go. And it's like, of course I did, but like, I didn't have the connects, I didn't have the networks, I didn't have the pull. Like, I didn't know what was going on when everything kind of came out. It's like, oh, like, how do I get on with this? And just not having the right people around me, the right connects, to kind of take that route. I know a lot of people who've played in all of those leagues, and yeah, really that was this. So I was just kind of like an outsider looking in, just waiting on my opportunity to kind of come to me, because I felt like I didn't have the networks to really attack that.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Like we
Yeah,
said, I mean, networking and contacts is a big thing in the football world.
right.
Obviously, as mentioned before, you're trying your hand at the XFL this season. However, has the FCF asked you back for season 3.0 yet?
I'm not really sure how that works, but I mean, I'm sure they're gonna. I think everybody who, obviously, who is good, or was a factor, or whatever. I'm sure they have probably like an automatic bid to kind of get in. And I said something to one of the directors, and I was just kind of like, so how does next year work? Like, do we gotta try out again, or like do we gotta wait to hear something? And he was like, oh nah, like y'all gonna hear something soon, like, November, December, right away. Like, hey, like, this is kind of, what's on the table. This is what we're looking at for next season. And then, I sent the director of player development a text, like, just kind of showing my appreciation, just because I built a personal relationship with a lot of the owners and high staff members and stuff there. So I just sent him a text appreciation and reminded him about the time when he told me, he was like, hey, are you gonna do anything? And I just kind of reminded him that, just kind of as a little joke. And then he was like, yeah, man, like I'll see you next year. And I was like, man, I promise. I hope I don't see you guys. You know what I mean? I hope I don't see you guys. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'm somewhere back outdoors, God willing. But then I was just like, but just make sure y'all save me a spot for season 3. So, I mean, if all else fails, I mean, I already said I'm coming back. I told multiple people if the only route is indoor ball, I mean, for next year, I don't want to go anywhere else if it's not the FCF.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that's the biggest form of respect you could give them right now, to be quite honest.
Yeah, most definitely.
Do you have a personal relationship with Patrick Dees?
Me and Patrick, I wouldn't say I have a personal relationship with him. I would definitely say we know each other faces. We always walking in paths, and we're always saying what's up to each other. And we just always end up in the same room for some reason. But I haven't necessarily built a personal relationship with him yet.
I only ask because he speaks very highly of you. Just so you know.
Yeah, I think like that last week of the season, we actually got a chance to really like sit down and talk. One time it was it was just a random night after one of the games, and we were just kind of sitting in a room with a couple other people and players and stuff, and kind of just talking about how the season went, how we felt about different players and stuff like that. And I mean, he got to learn me, I got to learn him, and that was definitely kind of how that went. And like I said, we always see each other in passing, and I mean, I speak to everybody. I try to show face and I mean, show appreciation to I mean, different staff members, different owners, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. It's a good way to stay in good standing with the league even after you leave.
Right, right.
So, if you make it to the XFL draft class, which I expect you will, is there a coaching staff you would like to land with that you could pick your dream scenario? I mean, is it June Jones? Is it Bruce Gradkowski? Is it AJ Smith? I mean, very diverse, interesting backgrounds in the XFL.
I mean, to be honest, they're all there for a reason. Um, I don't necessarily believe that one staff is completely better than the other staff. I mean, they're all at the same level. They're all at the XFL level. Um, all at the XFL level, and really just whoever has a good plan, whoever has a good plan for me at the end of the day. And I mean, I'll be definitely blessed. I mean, with whatever opportunity comes out of it. Really that's all, man. I mean, I know I can ball. I know I can kind of ball any. I know I can ball anywhere. So whoever kind of sees that, whoever will be able to see that in me. I mean, I'm gonna give them everything I got. Doesn't matter who it is.
We got a question in the chat again. I don't even know. So maybe you'll know. It says, "Can you ask Brycen if there's more doors or wheels?"
If there's more doors or wheels. Dang, this was like a topic of conversation a couple weeks ago in one of my
Really,
groups.
what does this even mean? Am I just out of the loop,
Are
or
there more doors or wheels? I want to say there are more doors. There might be more doors than wheels. Yeah, I think so.
okay?
Almost
Ducky's got
everything that has wheels may have a door, but not everything that has doors has wheels.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
I'm a
Interesting.
doors
So
guy.
Ducky thought you were a wheels guy.
I'm a doors
Um,
guy.
Man, that's the first time I've ever heard that. So I have no idea where that came from. I guess I'm apparently way under a rock or something. That's funny. So you're still very young, but is your post playing career likely still tied to coaching?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, we just got done a 7-on-7 game today at like 8:15, 8:30. I flew back home, hopped right on the call. I mean, I really want to keep training, keep coaching. I really definitely starting to love the other side of it because I spent so much time playing, and I feel like I see it from a different level, from a different point of view. Just because a lot of coaches really probably haven't played or played years ago, just when the game was a little bit different. So I feel like I have the knowledge, and I feel like I can relate to those guys, to the high school, middle school guys, simply because one, I feel like I look just like them. I do the same things that they do. I still go out. I still hang out with my friends. We listen to the same music, and I could kind of give them like a realer. I feel like I could give them a realer version on, you know what I mean, certain things that they want to hear. Hey, listen, you want to play Division I football? Well, this is kind of what it takes, or this is how professional life is and stuff like that. So I just like being able to kind of pass down the different keys and just the different things that I've seen over my years and everything. I like to pass that down to the next generation.
Absolutely. I like that answer for sure. What is your ultimate goal as a coach? I mean, is it ultimately to be a head strength and conditioning coach, or do you want to eventually run an offense or run your own program maybe?
Man, to be honest, I'm still definitely like at that point where I'm trying to figure out whether I want to go like the strength and conditioning route at like a major program, or if I just kind of want to take like the elite training program, like an Exos, or like, I mean, those guys you see on Instagram, like Foot Doctor, who train everybody, Footwork King and stuff like that. Really kind of still in that middle point, trying to figure out really which route I want to go, but then also still loving the X's and O's side of coaching and actually being a part of a team where it's like, I wouldn't mind coaching for, I mean, Power Five, the big Division I school. So really, it's just kind of like I'm kind of all in every direction. I feel as though I'm taking all the necessary steps in each direction. So really, whichever one comes first, I mean, I'm just gonna grasp on to all of the opportunities that present themselves. I've definitely applied to different internships and GA positions. I just recently applied to that to the fellowship, the coaching fellowship for the NFL. I just the minority coaching fellowship, Bill Walsh fellowship for the NFL. I mean, I just applied to that. So, I mean, just to learn more and kind of be in that atmosphere and everything. So, really whichever one comes first, I feel like I'm at that level where it's like, hey, if it's strength and conditioning, all right, cool, we could take it there. If it's elite training, cool, we could take it there too, because that's what I've been doing. If it's coaching, bet I feel like I got a good resume to do that as well. So really just whichever one comes first, in my opinion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So I got a couple more questions for you, and then I'll let you get out of here. If you were the offensive coordinator tasked with putting you in the best position to succeed as a player, which position do you play the most, and how exactly, like what offensive scheme would you run?
Yeah. I think everybody right now runs like a zone scheme. Some form of zone and spread. Some form of zone and spread. Either way. I mean, I feel as though as long as I learn it and as long as it is coached to me the right way, I feel like I can take off anywhere. Like I said, I played triple option in high school. We ran a bunch of power and traps and counters and everything, so I can run that as well. Um, uh, and then all throughout college and professional, it's just all been zone spread offenses and such like that. So I mean, I'm used to zone, used to spread, and if that's the route that I mean that we're gonna take, then I feel as though I'll flourish, and honestly, I'll flourish in any system, as long as that coach or whoever sees my gift, and kind of exploits that, obviously for the betterment of the team and everything. And I mean, I'm a fast learner. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter to me.
Gotcha. So the last question is kind of a little easy toss-up question. So I'm curious, if you do make it to the NFL level, would you be willing to return as an FCF owner?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I feel as though I would honestly want to be more. I would want to be more active as an owner. Um, in my opinion, I feel as though some owners could have been more active, but I get it. I mean, this it's the business side of it. They just own it, and I mean help promote it and everything. But I mean, we did have some owners who were out there, I mean, a lot. We had Drewski out there, we had Destroying out there. A lot of the NFT owners were out there a lot, just really supporting and everything. And I really wanted to, and I mean, I would love to be one of those people, kind of like a liaison between, the highest level of football and then, I mean, the FCF, the FCF. Because I mean, those guys, you know what I mean, such as myself, you know, we look up to those people, you know, who's played at those high levels of, you know what I mean, and we watch them, and then for them to kind of be there supporting us and everything, you know what I mean, it was great. So I would definitely come back, and I would definitely be an owner. I would just want to make sure that when I do it, that I'm super active and I'm promoting and all of that. You know, I just kind of want to be a little different.
Gotcha. Understood. One more question, actually, just totally spaced out to ask this. I've been looking at the XFL showcase list. Obviously, I'm the one filling it out. So
Yeah.
all these names have been popping up. A lot of guys are coming out of the FCF. Do you think this is something the FCF should maybe kind of latch on to and try to work their way in as kind of a developmental league for the XFL?
I believe that this is definitely an eye opener to the XFL, just with it being fresh and the only league kind of being active really being the FCF or the USFL. So I mean, I'm not sure in terms of how they would like logistically make, you know what I mean, the FCF a kind of like a partnership, just because it's indoor ball and compared to outdoor ball. So I'm not really sure how they would do that. But I mean, you can obviously tell that the eyes are definitely on us, with those guys being invited and with those guys being accepted to those showcases. And you know what I mean, even having a couple of our coaches being put onto staffs in the XFL. I mean,
Really?
you know what I mean, that's big.
I'll have to look into that. I was not aware any of the FCF coaches made the jump. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. I appreciate you, man. You have been fun to talk to. Lots of great information in this one for sure. I definitely am rooting for you. Like I said, I honestly think that you have the ability to be the Cavante Turpin of the XFL, and I'm really looking forward to what you can do in the XFL this year. So
thank you, man. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So once again, thanks for coming on, man. I really can't thank you enough, and best of luck in everything and anything you decide to do in the future.
Yep, man. Thank you for sure. You know, man, I'll definitely get with you, stay in touch and all of that.
Sounds good. I hope so. I mean, when you sign an XFL deal, I would love to have you back on.
Yeah, most definitely.
Sounds great, man. All right. Well, have a great night. Once again, thank you so much. You're a hell of a player, and I can't wait to see what you do the rest of your career.
Thank you, man.
Have a great night.
Yep, you too.
All right. Once again, guys, that was Brycen Alleyne, the man known as Alleyne Cuisine. I don't know why that name came up, but it's pretty freaking awesome. He is one of the most fun players to watch in the FCF. Like I said before, he reminds me a lot of Darren Sproles. He runs with power despite being a guy that doesn't have the size and speed of a guy like Derrick Henry, like we talked about. But at the same time, he's very versatile. He can catch a ball out of the backfield. He can return kicks. He can return punts. He can throw passes. Shoot, he can even coach your running backs and your special teams for you. So, I mean, some team is going to see the value in Alleyne when it comes to the XFL draft, and I firmly believe he is going to be selected by a team, and they are going to be rewarded nearly immediately when they start getting him on the field. There's a lot of guys in this XFL showcase list that I'm rooting for because they are FCF players, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of those other names on the list, but if I had to pick one player coming from the FCF that has the best chance to make it in the XFL showcases to the draft and be selected, it is Brycen Alleyne. There is literally no man on that list that is more electric than Brycen Alleyne. There may be some guys that can claim they're as electric as him, but that's the extent of that. Again, I'm biased. I'm a huge Glacier Boys fan, and I've been following a lot of them. I've had, Chris Barrett, their quarterback, on here. Now I've had Brycen Alleyne, Harrison Dreher, a guy who played with the Glacier Boys a couple times this season, will be coming on in a couple weeks. And, ultimately, while I might be biased, I really think that if you watch this interview, you should definitely go check out his highlights. Make your own impressions, make your own opinions, and I guarantee you won't come away
Smile on my face when I'm walking in the place. I can feel the hate, iterate, but I still don't let it phase or slow my pace. Cause great don't fade, remember for the impact I made. And I don't get what was holding me back and holding me back. Man, it happened so fast that when I look back, everything was said and done, one track at a time, drumming like I'm giving it a hell of a run. Till no more flow coming out of my soul, and and I don't know where I'ma go after no more shows and worldwide tours. But right now, I'm wanting more and more in a city of stores, under the cover of source, reading stat and gem for the next best thing, if that's a dream. But think about mine is I'm making mine a reality, cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die by my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die by my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die by my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Doing this for a while, always do it with a smile.
Gotta get the front again.
I didn't know I could sing either. That shit was funny as hell.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Come on, Jip.
Big smile on my face too. Finish line of sight. Just ran 100 miles in this race. Boom, where my congratulations. All I see is a bunch of dudes looking around so hateful. They so distasteful, but it's cool cause my crew, Tony the Tiger, great dude, fight spitter, got the eye of a tiger. Nigga hard on the line with a flow to his fight. Niggas, no time for lying, trying to get higher. Nigga performing red rock and rolling like some tires. Hit us, got it on lock and brought some cutters for the wires. But it's guaranteed that we high flies, niggas. And we ain't plays in the game with umpires, niggas. Better watch yourself, color sight, niggas. Better get back, never will retire, niggas. Told them before that I gotta get that fight, niggas. Can I go so high, I be going up in outer space. Know what I'm talking about, so you better back when you step to my face. It's me and Static, we wreak havoc. Told them before we the baddest at it, and we above the average. Yeah, we savage. Fuck the babbage.
I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die by my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die by my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words and I die with my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. I live by my words and I die by my pen. Every day for now, not concerned when it ends. I live by my words and I die with my pen.